So the year is 2020. I have never played a Capcom game before. No Resident Evil, no Street Fighter, never touched a Mega Man before. I had no idea what I was missing out on. Until... Monster Hunter. It all started with this. I'll try to keep this part short because I've already done a big video on it. Monster Hunter is a franchise that I've known for a long time, but never played. First time I saw it was when I saw my cousin play it on his PSP, and ever since then I always wanted it, but never had enough money to actually get it, because all I had was a Nintendo 3DS to play it on, and all I could play were the demos. The demos were really cool though. You could hunt like free monsters in them, and I remember doing it so much that I memorized all the moves, and yeah, Monster Hunter on the DS was actually really cool. The latest entry was on sale, and it was a new genre, and I thought it looked a bit like Dark Souls. Best decision I ever made. While I was playing the game though, I saw all these crossover events with many other Capcom titles that I never knew about. For example, like Devil May Cry, which was like one of the coolest missions in the game because it's how you get the trench coat, which looked really freaking cool. But still, it got me thinking. Growing up, I played most of Ubisoft's catalogue, and pretty much only that. I never really delved into any other publishers' games before, and that led me to a whole catalogue of other games that I've never really known about, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to play them. But there was this one game that I saw, and I've heard about that, and I was like, I'm gonna give that a shot, because this particular game was going around the internet with a bunch of frickin' memes. You might know them once I start talking about it. But the game I'm talking about is Devil May Cry. On the weekends, I get on the train to go see my girlfriend every weekend, and it's roughly a 2-hour train ride, so it's very handy to have my Switch on me so I can kill time while playing my Switch and absolutely grinding it out. This was how I played a lot of Monster Hunter Rise when it first came out. Since I was playing on the go more, I was looking at what else I could play on the go whilst on the train. Then I saw a series that I've kind of wanted to get interested in. Oh, and who is it made by? It's Capcom. The series was Devil May Cry. It was on sale. I saw the first game. I bought just the first game. I didn't buy the whole collection just in case I didn't like it. I would have liked it. The stars had aligned and fate predicted that it was time to play Devil May Cry. Now, when I was playing Monster Hunter, I was blown away. But when I played Devil May Cry, that took the cherry on top. Even though I am familiar with the genre of action game, I have played Bayonetta before, 1, 2, currently playing through 3, I'm not sure if I like it, but it's okay. But the thing that makes Devil May Cry, the characters, the story, the combat, everything, and just Dante's lines make it all the way. If you end up playing Devil May Cry after watching this video, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about.
Nice. Getting the band back together, huh?
I say this all now, but when I first played Devil May Cry 1, I actually couldn't beat it. I actually couldn't get past, like, the 5th mission or something. I remember I got up to the spider boss. I can't remember his name, forgive me. But yeah, I couldn't beat it, I didn't figure out what to do, and then I ended up closing the game for like a few months. But then I was going through my backlogs one day, and I saw Devil May Cry 1, and I was like, maybe I give it one more shot. And then the next time I played it, I beat the entire game in one go, and it was amazing. The story of Devil May Cry 1, for me, it's still really special. It's so nostalgic. Even though I've never played it before, it's very nostalgic feeling of the way older games were made, the way it used to be. The voice acting is like... Voice acting is nothing special in older games because, you know, it was a unfamiliar territory at the time. But the way the story is told and how it all unveils itself at the very end, it's a very basic story, but at the same time, it's very special at the same time. Then I got to the Holy Grail, Devil May Cry 3.
Though the same blood of their father flowed through their veins, the two battled each other fiercely like arch-enemies. It seemed as if they derived some sort of twisted pleasure from this brotherly fighting. Want to know the name? Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry 3 combined everything right. Notice how I skipped the second game. You should follow that too. Don't do that. But Devil May Cry 3 though. Now that is the stuff. Devil May Cry 3 does exactly what the first game did right, but just kept expanding on it. That's kind of how successful the first Mario games were. They were very simple, revolutionary, everything was good. They may not have had story, but all they had to do to keep succeeding is just keep expanding. Keep making the same game, but change it. Not too much, but not too little. Add stuff. You add more combat, you add more moves, you add better levels, you add more story, more characters especially. They even added a new playable character in Devil May Cry 3, and he is the most Sigma-based frickin' person you can think of. I'm talking about Virgil, by the way. After playing Devil May Cry 3, I started playing Devil May Cry 4, and then I got to 5, and 5 is even better than all of them. I have not played the reboot of Devil May Cry DMC, because I've heard very mixed things about it, and the reason, the whole point that they made a reboot and then went back to the original universe, which thank God they did that, because Devil May Cry 5 is absolutely amazing. Devil May Cry 3 is a story between Dante and Virgil, and that works so well when it comes to Devil May Cry 5, because the last time they saw each other was like in the 2000s, and Devil May Cry 5 takes place almost 20 years later, and you can see like they physically age, which is just a nice detail in and of itself. And the way how these two brothers have finally met each other again, and they still act the exact same like bastard siblings that they are. It's simply amazing how well like the Devil May Cry series has survived. Even though the action hack and slash genre was going through a bit of a struggle during the PS3 era, they still managed to pull it out and survive. The Devil May Cry series was definitely a unique trip. I'm forever glad that I've decided to buy Devil May Cry 1 and then give it up and then go back to it and finish it. That was one of the best decisions I ever made. Now, the next series that I got into was something way out of my comfort zone. I never would have imagined myself playing it. I even attempted to play it once, but was way too scared and never played the game again. The games I'm talking about? Resident Evil.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Now, I am no fan of horror. I hate scary movies, and games too. But how come it is so unfair that some of the best ever written stories and worlds created and character development and stuff always takes place in horror games? Why? Well, I went to find out why. That brings me to the Resident Evil series. I have played Resident Evil before. The very first one. When it came to PlayStation Plus, it was free for everyone who had subscribed to it. Now, I played the first game. I thought it was going to be like an action zombie killing game. I was wrong. I think the video is even still up on my channel, but I was basically so scared of the game that I couldn't even get past a hallway with a bunch of loud thunder. Yeah, I couldn't get past that. I am very ashamed of that, but hey, at least nowadays I've completed like 4 of them now, 5 Resident Evil games. Then, after that, I replayed Resident Evil 1, the game I was too scared to play when I first got it. I replayed it, and damn, Resident Evil 1 is so good with how it handles, like, the voice acting. Yeah, it's a bit dated.
The ultimate life form. Tyrant.
Wesker, you've become senile.
Resident Evil 1 does something really well, which is mystery. Resident Evil 1 did such a good job with the mystery. Like, yeah, there are zombies in the mansion, but why are there so many? How come some of them are researchers? Why are there zombie dogs running around? What the hell's a hunter? Why do the birds attack you? Where the hell did Jill and Wesker go when you start off the frickin' game? All that, it gets you hooked. You have to find everything. The way it is very dated, the way the aiming and shooting and combat works, but like, the combat's only half of the game, unlike where it is with Resident Evil 3, where it's like almost the whole game. But still, it is very good. Now, present day, I have just finished Resident Evil 4, and Resident Evil 4 is freaking good. I do kind of feel left out though of Resident Evil 4, mainly because there are so many people that played the original Resident Evil 4 that I never got to experience, and apparently Resident Evil's remake, Resident Evil 4's remake, is missing out on a lot of stuff that was in the original too. Even, I think you get to play as Ada in the original, and you get to play as Chris. I'm not sure about that, but... And apparently there's a lot missing with the remake, but it was still a lot of fun. It was really cool seeing, like, the parasite that was, like... Resident Evil 4 was really cool with how it handled mystery as well. It's not probably as good as Resident Evil 1, because the whole atmosphere and lighting and ambience with Resident Evil 1 was perfect, but Resident Evil 4, while being more into combat than horror, was definitely really good. I am even considering playing the original Resident Evil 4, but I'm not too sure about that. And apparently, I'm pretty sure, I think Capcom is going to remake Resident Evil 5 and 6, just because, you know, if you're going to remake 1 till 4 and then have 7 and 8 out, you only got 2 games left to remake, so may as well do it. Now, this brings us to the end of my journey. Since 2020, I have been on a mission to play a lot more games. I don't even like Ubisoft anymore. Ubisoft just makes the exact same game every single year. It's just a RPG and you're either in a medieval setting or a modern day setting. That's literally Ubisoft nowadays. They might be heading back in the right direction with the new Assassin's Creed, but we'll see. I plan to even play Street Fighter 6 when it comes out, but I'm still not sure. We'll see. Overall, I am very glad that I have played these games now. Playing just these 3 franchises has opened my horizons a lot to other franchises and games that I would never have played if I didn't. I took a pretty big risk playing Resident Evil especially, but I loved it. I'm so glad I did. Moral of the story, maybe take a risk every once in a while. Anyways, that's been my journey, and I hope to go on more. Maybe in another publisher's franchises, maybe. Who knows, maybe I'll play more Konami games, I don't know. I've never played Castlevania before, maybe that's next. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time I upload, next year probably. I don't know, this took a very long time to make, Jesus Christ. Did you know that Capcom made a Zelda game?